This is really cool because it's a wine that is extremely young and nobody else is selling it. So that's not quite true. I mean, he's selling it himself, the winemaker. But as far as I'm concerned, there aren't very many other people that have got this wine at the moment, certainly not in Ireland. It's really interesting, and I think it's absolutely delicious. So it's made of Gamay, which is the main grape variety you find in Beaujolais, in red Beaujolais, and it's actually made in regions which are very, very close to Beaujolais. It's in the very, very, very far northern Rhone. The Rhone River runs from Geneva, Lake Geneva, down south through Beaujolais and through Lyon, I think, which is the bottom of Burgundy, and then through Beaujolais, and then through the Rhone Valley that we know as for wines, and then into Marseille. So this is kind of Rhone. It's very, very far north Rhone, almost Beaujolais, and it's using the main Beaujolais grape variety. So is it Beaujolais? No, it's not, because A, it's the wrong region, but B, more importantly, Cuilleron here makes wine in a very traditional method. It's grown on alluvial granitic soils, which are really good for high quality Gamay. So the vines drain very well, so they never get too flooded and they never get too hot, because these vines are quite high altitude as well, and around the town of Bessay, which is kind of high altitude as well, and it's further away from the equator than the southern Rhone. So Gamay here in the very far north of the Rhone does quite well. What he then does is, once they're perfectly ripe and picked, minimum intervention vineyard, taken to the winery, they're partially destemmed and squished and fermented. They don't undergo a very long maceration, which is the skin contact in the vats, but they're then aged. So before they're aged, it's very exciting. See, they undergo malolactic fermentation, which is the conversion of malic acid into lactic acid. Malic acid is the acid that you find in a grape that makes it go all crunchy and fresh and juicy and mouth-watering. Think of your Latin. Malus for apple. It's the same acid you find in apples. Lactic acid that you find in milk. So the conversion of one to the other, and that happens through a bacterial reaction while the wine is at rest, if you want it to, and you can control it so that it doesn't happen. But a lot of winemakers encourage it because it makes the mouthfeel of the wine feel a little bit creamier, and that's what happens here. So the malolactic sort of counteracts some of the natural exuberance that you get from Gamay wines. So Beaujolais, that doesn't undergo malolactic fermentation, is really fresh and crunchy and juicy. It's the kind of stuff you might have chilled a little bit, put in the fridge, ready for your pâté at lunchtime. This would be perfect with pâté at lunchtime. It's just a little bit smoother and richer and fresher. And still fresh, but smoother and richer. It's lovely. Really, really good wine. If you couldn't tell, I'm a big fan. It then undergoes 8 months of oak aging. Not brand new oak, so it's never going to be like super oaky, and not even first-year-old use. It's second-year oak barrels. So they're really quite, the oak influence is very moderate, but what it does is it allows the wine just to sort of breathe a little micro-oxygenation from the pores in the oak barrel staves, and you get this really delicious wine. 8 months, plus a few weeks of maceration, plus fermentation. That's what, probably 9 months? This stuff is the 2020 vintage. It means that it was bottled about 4 weeks ago, maybe 5, and shipped to us pretty much straight away. It's extremely young. So when you open it, I beg you to give it a little bit of time. There could be some residual carbon dioxide. I didn't find any when I was trying it. But it really is very bright and vibrant. So give it a little bit of time beforehand. Maybe decant a glass before you get stuck into it properly. Leave the glass for 5-10 minutes, give it a swirl around, and I think you're going to absolutely love it.